Welcome to I Wish You Could Hear This, where we explore great stories and simple proven steps to help you thrive in life, faith, and relationships.
In our research, we've heard hundreds of hope-filled strategies for marriage, parenting, leadership, and life that are grounded in science and consistent with biblical truth. And now you can hear them too.
I'm Shaunti Feldhahn.
And I'm Jeff Feldhahn.
If you have been impacted by the premise of the 5 Love Languages book, you won't want to miss this episode. Most of us have found it so helpful to learn our spouse's love language, like acts of service or quality time. But over the years, many of us have also been confused by how to do those things. Like, I thought watching a rom-com together was quality time. Or what does quality time mean to an introvert? Or whatever. So the author of the 5 Love Languages, Dr. Gary Chapman, teamed up with the renowned psychologist duo of Drs. Les and Leslie Parrott to write a remarkable follow-up book called The Love Language That Matters Most, that helps us put the 5 love languages into practice. We have Les and Leslie with us today on this episode of I Wish You Could Hear This to give us all the practical tips about how to apply the 5 love languages in an even better way, especially in our marriages, but also in other relationships in our lives.
Les and Leslie, as we get started, let me introduce you to anyone who isn't familiar with your work. Drs. Les and Leslie Parrott are psychologists and #1 New York Times bestselling authors of numerous books, including Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. They've been featured on all the major media shows, Oprah, The View, The Today Show, and pretty much everything else. Counselors widely rely on their work, including their multiple premarital assessment programs, such as SIMBAS. More important to us, they've been co-laborers in the Christian marriage space and have become friends over the years. So Les and Leslie, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Wow, it's our privilege. We always love hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, you're so sweet. And can I just tell you, Leslie, how much you meant to me about 5 years ago when I discovered I had breast cancer, and you were like so texting me, you doing okay? You got this. Like, you were awesome. That meant so much to me.
I love hearing that. We're just all walking each other home, right? On this journey.
We are.
Yes.
Thank you. And you guys, truly, I've always had a high opinion of you guys, but let me just tell you, over the years, I've realized that opinion hasn't been high enough. So
you guys are
thank
awesome.
you.
It's always fun to be with you guys, whether it's over dinner or over an interview on your podcast. So,
So speaking on the podcast, we've got a lot of questions for y'all.
We have
but
so many
first,
questions.
I'd love to hear about how you hooked up with Dr. Gary Chapman to even do this project. The 5 Love Languages have sold tens of millions of copies, and it's so iconic.
And they've sold millions of
for
books,
sure,
right? Like,
for sure.
how?
So, like, how on earth did you two and Gary come together and do a book?
Yeah, well, to be more precise, Gary has sold 20 million copies of 5 Love Languages over the last 30 years. It's truly one of the greatest publishing success stories ever. So I just called Gary and said, "Hey, how do I get on that?" So no,
that's not at all true.
That's not what happened.
You may have wanted to. Yeah.
Hey, before we even jump into this, I got to share with you something, then I'm going to answer your question. But we have something I want to give to all of our viewers and listeners. It's totally for free. It's something that they'll love for their relationships. And it takes just 4 minutes or less. And it's called myheartchart.com, myheartchart.com. And we're so excited about this.
True.
We have had hundreds of thousands of people do this. You don't have to do this with a partner. And even if you're single, by the way, you can take this. But myheartchart.com. And what it does is give you a nice little snapshot of the state of your relationship. If you're single, it takes you down a different lane and on your relationships,
For
not
all
romantic.
your web of relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'm so. Who was it that said anybody that accomplishes anything of significance has to have to be partially obsessed at the chronic and mentally ill level, probably. But anyway, I'm obsessed with this little free tool for people, FREE, free, no strings attached, no email. You don't have to join anything. There's no, there's nothing hidden behind it. It's just a help for your relationship.
It's a gift.
myheartchart.com.
We will put that in the show notes.
Awesome.
So everybody has that.
So anyway, I just have to get out that word on something that
Well,
can help
because
couples.
it's kind of like having a little GPS that that shows you where you're standing right now in the relationship that matters most to you.
That's cool.
And so it's just really valuable. And when you know where you're standing, then you know how to move forward where you want to be. So it is really valuable. It's brief. You do it on your own. It doesn't require you to work as a couple, but you can reflect on your own heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
you know that phrase that we psychologists like to use, awareness is curative, and this is becoming aware of the state of your relationship. So anyway, I checked that box. I got to get that word out to everybody.
That's awesome.
Here's the question, the answer to your question, Jeff. Leslie and I have known Gary, probably like you have, for many decades. In fact, when he first came out with the 5 love languages, Leslie and I had a brand new book called Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. And we ended up just doing a lot of speaking together on various platforms around the country. And so we became friends. And you know how it is when you're speaking with other people, you go out to dinner afterwards, and before long, you're friends. Hopefully you're friends with them. And so we've been friends with Gary for a long, long time. And I think it was, I don't know, about 5 years ago now, that Leslie and I were asked to host a TV show for Valentine's. And one of the guest speakers that we were interviewing was Gary. And so even though I know Gary so well, I went on Wikipedia just to see if there's anything I should use in the introduction and so forth. And I can't remember how old he was at the time, but in his 80s. And so I called him the next morning and I said, Gary, did you know you're 83 years old? And he was like, I know. And
you wouldn't know it to be around him.
No.
The proverbial Energizer bunny.
Yeah.
But at any rate, because of that interview, just things started happening. I said, let's make sure that 5 love is carried in to the next generation and the next generation after that. And one of the things that ended up happening as a result of that is that we built an assessment called the 5 Love Language Premium Assessment. And unlike myheartchart.com, this one takes about 20 minutes or so. It's pretty intense. Answer a lot of questions.
Right.
And it generates more detailed information about your experience with the 5 love languages than ever before. And we get into some stuff we'll talk about here in this interview a little bit. But it was kind of the catalyst.
Working
to
together
do the assessment
to create
together.
that. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Tool. And that thing has just been wildly successful.
And can I interrupt you? Because I want everybody to know, because for folks who haven't done SYMBIS or one of the other types of assessments that you guys are now running, I think people don't recognize just how central you are in creating these really valuable assessments to help you get a sense of what's going on. And they are good, guys. And I will just say, Les, you may not even remember this, but in 2016, 2015, 10 years ago, when I was putting out the kindness challenge, and I'm like, I have done all these massive surveys, but I need to do an assessment for people with a report, and that is a completely different thing. And so this very, very busy man named Les Parrott spent hours on the phone with me, helping me figure out how to do a good assessment. And so I learned so much from you. And, obviously you have an experience in this that goes back decades. But I just want to say, folks, this love language assessment that they're talking about that sort of got this whole thing started, these assessments are so helpful.
They're robust.
They're very robust. Yeah.
I do remember that, Shaunti, and I'm still waiting for my royalty checks on all that.
Well, when we start earning royalties from it, I will give some to you, but that hasn't happened yet.
I love that you said that when it's all about kindness.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was so energized by your project and love that book and the whole campaign around it for kindness. And it was so timely. It still is.
Yes, it is.
But the whole idea of doing a survey is very different than an assessment that needs reliability and validity to really make sure you're really measuring what you say you're measuring, and you do that consistently across all kinds of different people. So, but yeah, that was a fun deal. I was always glad to see that come out. But yeah, Gary and I and Leslie and some other people on our team, we built this assessment, the 5 Love assessment. We can talk a little bit more about that, what that means, but it's been really fun to do that. And then we were having in, I don't know, in some city we were speaking in or whatever with Gary, and I said, have you ever done a follow-up to the 5 love languages? And he goes, you know something, it's always been my dream. He said, we've done all kinds of spin-offs. We have 5 love languages for teenagers, and we have for blended family and for the workplace and all kinds of stuff. But I said, do you have some message in mind for kind of 2.0 of the 5 love languages itself? And he said, yeah, this is so interesting to me. I'm sure you remember this. He said, so many people will read the purple book. We call it the purple book, the 5 love languages. And we'll read that and go, okay, I'm words of affirmation. So that's now you need to love me, love me, words of affirmation. And
They kind of stop there. Okay, I get myself. Now everyone knows my love language, and they feel validated in that.
And so it becomes really self-referent, kind of like a personality trait, like I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert, right? And I'm acts of service. So there you go. And he said, so I wish we could take it to the next level, because it's one thing to have that awareness about how you want to be loved, but how do you get people to focus on it? And then he said, this was so interesting. He said, the other thing I find is that there's some people that go, hey, I'm speaking her love language, I'm speaking his love language, but their love tank doesn't seem to get filled up. What's going on with that? It's a mystery. Gary was saying it's a mystery to me. And so that really spun us into some research that got us into kind of, I call it thin slicing, because I used to be in a neuropsychology, and we would thin slice brains. But when you look at the thin layers of the love language, you begin to see, oh, wait a second. It's not just this one big group of this is the love language. It's the dialect within that love language that is the game changer.
Right.
And we can talk more about that. But that's really how this whole thing came to be.
That's right. So cool.
Yeah, and thus the title, The Love Language That Matters Most.
Yeah, yes. And of course, everybody, in fact, this is a mock-up of the book, because it's what we have right now. But I was at a restaurant, and I had this book sitting on the table, and I was talking with the publisher. And the server came, and this was in Seattle, our home city, and restaurant I go to frequently. And the server came up and she said, the love language that matters most, she says, is it touch? Because that's my love language. And I said, no. She said, well, which one is it? Which one is it? Thinking it was one of the 5. And I said, well, the love language that matters most is the love language of the person in front of you. And she had her little tablet she was taking orders on, and she slapped it down on the table. She said, get out of here. She says, that's perfect. I said, I think we have a good title. So, yeah, but that's the connection. There's just a long time friendship with Gary, and an investment in making sure that more and more couples, in spite of 20 million people reading the original Purple Book, that more and more people get exposed to it.
That's right. And to the heart of what his original calling was in creating and sort of cracking the code of love. And that is so that we're actually able to love better, instead of just understand our own needs for love better. Yeah.
You referenced the love tank in the book.
Yeah.
So can you explain what that is and what fuels it, so that, people can keep their tanks full?
I mean, I love that metaphor. It's simplistic, but we all get it, that we do have some sort of a reservoir in our souls that either just feels emptied and depleted, or full to overflowing, or
And just let's be clear, it is a metaphor. You don't have a love tank.
right.
It's not you can't X-ray this in case you're wondering out there.
That's exactly right. Yeah, but there are some nuances to a love tank. I mean, the truth is, when a love tank is full, it's power, because not only do you feel healthy and have a high level of well-being and connection, but it's kind of like a full love tank is also very contagious, because it splashes over and generates more loving response, and then the love sort of becomes, this never-ending cycle. Likewise, the empty love tank has that same kind of contagion. An empty love tank is depleting. You're not as able to reach out and love. And so it starts emptying the tank of the person you're connected to. And so it has a negative contagion.
And one of the things that we discovered when we were, doing all the research to think, how do we help people kind of take the next step in the whole love language journey? We wanted to capture all the nuances of a love tank. And one of the things we discovered is they come in different sizes. Some people have, just in their DNA, they have a large metaphorical love tank. Some have a smaller, meaning that some people, they can just live on a positive word of affirmation for a long time because their love tank is just so big. Other people, I need it continually filled. Like,
tiny little tank that empties often. But it makes sense. We have different personality factors. We have different origin stories. Our families have loved us well or given us gaps. And all of that impacts the shape and size of our love tank.
One thing we know from research is a love tank is quicker to drain than it is to fill.
For sure.
And John Gottman and his research with the magic ratio and all stuff factors into that. But
and the magic ratio, which you guys know, I'm sure, but maybe not every listener knows, is that for every 5 negative comments, for every negative comment we get, we need 5 positives in order to overcome that leak.
The impact of the one.
Happened.
Literally within the last week or so, I said something to Leslie. Oh, I know what it was. I came out in the morning. I don't know if you even know this. I came out from the bedroom in the morning. She's in the kitchen. She's making her tea and stuff. And I came in and I said, hey, you never did pick up the blah, 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 whatever it was. Like, that was the very first thing I said in the morning. And then in my mind, I went, oh, I'm going to have 5 positive things before I can get the love tank back to where it was. So even when you know this stuff, it's difficult to practice,
We literally, we've been out to dinner with, friends or whatever, and maybe squabbling a little bit or whatever. And I've literally had a girlfriend come over to my side of the table and put her arm on my shoulder and go, Shaunti, there's a book you need to read.
Oh, that is the best.
It's so bad. Okay, so in order to get people into what the love language that matters most, the book, the new 5 love languages assessment, I would love to use a case study. I didn't tell Jeff I was going to do this.
She knows I react so well to things on the fly. Well, we'll get into that.
Okay. So we did your 5 love languages assessment. Okay.
I love it.
So Jeff is quality time. Now, actually, it was interesting to actually see your report and see that each of us have 3 languages that are really high up there and not that far apart. Like these 3 different things that matter.
Each of you in your relationship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Each of us individually have, his was quality time, but, acts of service isn't far behind or whatever.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. So his is quality time. And I figured in order to help our listeners understand what you mean by dialects and what does it mean, practically, to dig into those nuances, because the nuances, like you said, those are the ones that matter, right? Like the nuances of what does it mean. I would love to do a little case study here and have you guys take us through, give us some examples of the differences so that somebody might feel quality time in this way, but somebody else, you do that and they're like, it doesn't hit them at all. So that how do you learn each other's dialects?
And I would prefer if you don't think of me as weird.
Not weird. That's your love language.
Yeah,
So
too
Well,
late.
as they unpack it,
too
right?
late.
Too late.
So let me just get this straight, Shaunti. You want us to do a private, personal session that we would normally charge for. So first, I give you incredible consulting on your kindness assessment,
Absolutely.
and now I'm doing
100%.
therapy for you and Jeff.
It,
I get
it,
it
it,
now.
it,
Absolutely.
it,
He's a
Sh- Shaunti,
genius.
li-
Yeah.
Shaunti lives by the maxim: ask not, have not.
I love it.
So do I. It takes one to know one.
Before we even tackle the time, though, I love what you said because this is one of the things that I love about finding out the nuances on our love languages. Yeah, we all have a primary love language, but we also get to see where we line up with our secondary love language and the other things that
Yeah,
are
exactly.
high on our list. And then sometimes we find out what is our foreign language, where we literally just don't
Oh
see
yeah.
this
Oh,
one.
and
Yeah.
we have a question for you about that one too. That's later.
Okay.
So Shaunti, what is your highest love language?
I'm
Your primary.
I'm actually acts of service.
Okay.
That's but again, quality time wasn't too far behind. So
Yeah.
And do you remember, Shaunti, your dialect within acts of service?
yes, the alleviate stress was
Oh,
like
okay.
Yeah.
the alleviating stress. And on the quality time, he was like, "Yes, thank you. That's that." On the quality time, Jeff, the thing I remember from the circle that like shows the different grid
Right.
is that he is a planner. Like
Yes.
he likes to be, figured out ahead of time and,
Hence the comment that Jeff doesn't really like things thrown
I
at
know.
him
And
on
so
the fly.
I think I'm showing everybody what not
to do. Jeff,
in
we'll have a discussion about this later.
Yeah, we might need to schedule more time with you guys after the
Sure.
podcast.
Yes.
too.
Next time that we're in Seattle, we need to go out to
That's
lunch
great.
again. Yes.
I don't know if it
okay.
can wait until next time. We might need to get on
Me
this right
too.
away. So, well,
But
yeah. So Jeff, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I was just going to say, so in all seriousness, if you could tell us as an example, what are some of the dialects of quality
Right.
time? Like the different
sure.
nuances that someone who may recognize themselves or their spouse in this can go, oh, that's what you mean by
Now that
dialects."
makes sense to me.
Yes.
Yeah, well, let's start with quality time so we can figure out how weird Jeff is. And it begins by determining whether a person is future oriented or present oriented. In other words, do you get more energized by the here and now or the there and then, what's about to happen?
Right.
And I can tell you, I get energized by the future. Leslie says I'm a visitor from the future. I love what's around the corner. I love
You are the
thinking about
classic entrepreneur. Like, just like the classic.
The next thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I'm with
next
you.
thing.
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And you're there. Yeah. Which is.
And you are all about the here and now.
I'm the here and now. I live in this present moment. The future hasn't happened yet, so why would I pay attention to it? I just am in this moment.
Yeah. And so when it comes to Jeff, you obviously are about the future, right? Because you already told me you're a
Obviously.
planner.
Yeah.
And then the second dimension is
The second dimension has to do with scheduling. Do you like to be scheduled or do you like to be open and unscheduled?
right.
And
I could show you my calendar, and I'm a scheduling guy.
yes.
If it isn't on the schedule, we don't do it.
So you're squarely a planner. I don't know what your percentage was, but in the assessment, it'll give you one of the things we're really big on is not forcing you into anything,
Right.
just giving you handles. And so we give you a percentage score. And by the way, in case people are wondering, well, do you pass or fail this thing? No, it's just an exercise in awareness. There's no way to come out
Mm-hmm.
weird. There's no way to come out wrong or you didn't pass it.
But you just get insight about how your DNA is.
So
operating.
you are future oriented and you are all about the future. So you are a planner. Now, if you're the opposite,
Scheduled, you meant to say, yeah.
yeah, scheduled. And so if you're unscheduled, like Leslie is, and you're about the here and now, you are what we call an improviser with your dialect. You're very fluid. In fact, we had something, I think it was an interview that was canceled last week. And Leslie, I was like, I can't believe that. I scheduled my day around it. Was
And I was like,
this.
what are you talking about? Now we have a free time. Let's do something.
That's awesome. Let's go to lunch.
Right.
So, but yeah, and so Shaunti, you and I might share a little piece of that because you just sprung this moment on Jeff. So I'm guessing you've got a little piece of that.
This is a perfect example of, okay, so let's just pretend one person is the either the flexible improviser, that's what their quality time version is, versus someone who's future oriented and scheduled planner. Give me an example of, like, if this is Joe in one of those buckets, what does Joe's wife need to do differently with a Joe that's an improviser versus a Joe that's a scheduled guy? Like,
so
give our
for a
listeners
planner,
an example.
we don't need to talk about Joe because we got Jeff right here.
Right here. Right.
So
I'm trying to dig myself out of the ditch, Les, and you're not helping. Okay.
But yeah, so what you want to focus on, because now you know that dialect, it's one thing to know quality time. Like, he just loves hanging with you. Jeff that fills his love tank. It's one of the things that fills his love tank is just hanging out with Shaunti. But he really loves it when it's something he can look forward to because he's a planner.
Yeah, anticipate it.
So if you can put a date night on the calendar that he's looking forward to, that might be important to you too, to schedule something, but it may not be filling your love tank the way it is for Jeff, because just the anticipation of it is something that fills his love tank.
That's right. Holding that space, knowing that it's planned, knowing that you've set it aside for the two of you, and he can count on your undistracted presence for that shared moment, is loving him all the way to when the moment even begins.
That's
fantastic.
Okay, this suddenly explains why you loved it so much when I adopted your college football team when we first got married, and ended up, like, getting into it on Saturday afternoons. Like, we all knew, like, I would, as long as I wasn't out at a women's event somewhere, or we weren't speaking at a marriage event somewhere, we would be watching it together, and he would know that.
He could count on you to share that.
Right.
And it was just an understanding. Yeah.
So let's talk about you, Shaunti, because I have done a lot of psychoanalysis in my life. And let's talk about acts of service. Because this is also happens to be my primary love language is acts of service. And for the longest time, and there's 4 dialects, just like there are for time. Now, not every love language has the same number of dialects. Touch has 7. Touch has a lot of dialects.
Yeah.
But for acts of service, they are saves time, alleviates stress, which is yours, instills security, and then conveys care. Those are the 4 dialects of acts of service. So if any of our listeners are out there going, that's my love language, or my partner's love language, and you haven't done the thin slicing to figure out the dialect yet, this can be pretty transformative. Certainly was for us.
Well, yeah, because I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, acts of service was your number one love language, your primary. But I would try to convey it just organically through little caring touches. And that was not
physical touches, but caring.
Like bringing you coffee or something.
Yes, bring a warm drink. Turn down.
Now, I don't drink coffee, so if she brought me a cup of coffee, we'd really be miscommunicating.
You a lemon tea.
That's true.
But I might, like, if he had to stay up late working and I was able to go to bed earlier, I'd go and turn down his side of the bed or whatever. You didn't even notice.
No.
I thought that was an act of service, but didn't speak your language.
Right, and it is an act of service because it conveys care. It just so happens that care on the 4 dialects is the lowest one for me, and that was the one she was speaking, was care. The number 1 dialect I have by far and away is saving time. if Leslie can do something that saves me time,
Which, by the way, I just need to brag because today, before this interview, I did a return for you at Costco.
That
Oh my
that
goodness.
saves some
One
time.
and
Yes.
took something back for you
And
because I love you.
and I can tell you, she does not like Costco. Like, that is not her.
Like, I sit in the car while you go into
Yeah,
Costco.
like, and it's like,
Yeah.
go in, get your stuff, and come back out, right? And so that is a true act of service, right?
That
'Cause
is
she
awesome.
knows I want that out of the house, get rid of that thing. And by the way, it was a Dyson vacuum cleaner that is supposed to be a mop, just for anybody that's
Yep,
out
yep.
there. I don't write reviews, but that thing does not work.
We love the
Just-
vacuum.
Wow.
Get them off.
Okay.
What the-
All right.
No, but Shaunti, so your dialect is, is about someone who has your back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Correct.
alleviates stress.
So
Which is he's amazing at. Like, he will notice when I'm in like manic mode because I'm on a deadline, or I'm late to turn in something, or I've got to get to the airport, and he will be like, how about I make you dinner? Like, and I'll bring it into your office and set it down in front of you so you can shovel it into your mouth while you're finishing whatever whatever it is that you're writing. So, like, that is, I mean, that it does fill my tank, where something like conveying care would be nice, but it just wouldn't have the same impact. So
is saving
totally see what
time
you mean.
important to you, Shaunti, or is
It
it
is.
really
It
just
is.
about the stress?
It is. It's both alleviating stress and saving time.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
And so when Leslie began to recognize this, and because really for decades in our relationship, we've been married 40 years, and for decades, Leslie would often do these caring things that just aren't even registering for me. And she is attempting to speak my love language, and is speaking that love language just in a dialect that I really don't understand.
I mean, you could see it and think, "Oh, that's kind."
Yeah.
But you didn't think,
Didn't feel it.
"Wow,
Didn't
my
resonate.
love
It
tank
didn't.
is
It didn't
full."
fill the love tank.
So can I ask a question? Go ahead, Les. Finish
well,
that.
Just the whole point of this new book is not just to rehash the 5 love languages in some new language or something. It's to take it to the next level by really helping you understand the person that you love on this planet, whether it's a child, whether it's somebody at work, a friend, or the person that you're married to. Being able to speak their love language in their dialect is a complete game changer. That's the point.
I agree, and it's remarkable for me to see in the assessment what Shaunti's love language is and the dialect. That's so super helpful.
And just to be clear, Jeff, let me interrupt you. Just to be clear, on our website that we're 5 love languages, you'll find a free little quiz that takes about a minute and a half. That'll just show you your love language. That's not what we're talking about.
Correct.
In case somebody gets confused.
Yeah.
This is the 5 love language premium. The keyword there is premium assessment. Takes about 20 minutes to answer the question. And by the way, I got to tell you, one of the things we've discovered, people do this as a family and have everybody of a certain age, 16 or older, take this thing. And on the last page of the report is this little one pager that summarizes how to love Jeff. And it summarizes everything in the report. And people are putting it up on their refrigerators so that you know how to love everybody.
Just to be clear.
This is what I need. So,
go ahead,
so
Jeff.
here's the question then. So Shaunti is amazing at recognizing when I do these extra things, or not necessarily, they shouldn't always be extra things, but just these things.
But
what do you say to the person who I'm trying these extra things,
including the ones that speak their dialect,
including the ones that speak their dialect, but they look at it as, this is just what you should be doing. It's your duty. It's your obligation. And you almost don't get any kind of credit for serving like that.
What you're saying is help the person who is speaking earnestly a love language for someone they care for, in the dialect that is attuned to their specific needs, but still not getting that response that you would hope for.
Right.
I mean, what I'm going to say isn't original to me. It's what I've heard Gary say over and over. The thing about love languages, it's not a formula of sort of enlightened self-interest. It's a gift. You're giving
Oh
love.
gosh, I knew you were going to say that. I am such a planner. I can't plan on gifts. Okay.
You know, and
It is a
so
gift. Yeah.
not everybody is able and ready to offer it back, and that's part of loving.
Well, yeah, because ultimately the love language that matters most, the title of this book, comes down to empathy.
Yeah.
Right? This is just an easy on-ramp to empathy. And empathy is one of the greatest challenges we have as human beings. It does not come easy to us. We have to be very intentional. We have to set aside our own agenda. So all we're trying to do with this book is make that so much easier to do, because the happiest people on this planet in a couple are the two people that enjoy mutual empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bar none.
Which is so true. It's interesting because, and we don't have time to really like unpack this, but I think over time, we've been married 31 years. Even saying that out loud. Wow,
amazing.
That's crazy. Yeah. But we've been married 31 years, and that empathy
has changed each of us.
Changed us enough that our love languages, when we first started learning about the love languages when we were newly married, I think they were actually a bit different. And we have, to some degree, our love languages, when you look at our charts, it's like they're very similar now. And it's because I've learned to appreciate what he can best give.
Love that insight.
And empathy.
And empathy does that.
Empathy will change you. There's no doubt about that. You've heard me say this probably several times, but I always tell my counseling students at the university, huge difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy flows with the adrenaline. It's throwing out a life ring to somebody struggling in the water. Everybody does that. Empathy is diving into the water, risking your own well-being to bring that person back to shore. It's entering their world with your head and your heart. And when you do that, you don't look at them the same way. If you've ever had anybody that has been heroic in your life, where you've been in a situation, let's say they helped you with a kindness assessment or something like that.
Heroic.
It was heroic.
It was heroic.
I know how busy you were.
For sure.
They have a really big ego. But no, you get the idea, right? That change, it really changes. I always joke with Leslie, if we're on the freeway, you'll find this hard to believe, but I can be somewhat of an aggressive driver on the freeway. And
he's almost never in a hurry.
So. Never. I can't picture that.
Time. But if I, maybe get into a place that, somebody doesn't think I should be and they honk at me, I always say to Leslie, if he knew me, he wouldn't honk. He'd go, that's a good guy. I should let him.
Love that.
Empathy. It'll change the way you look at people.
It's true.
Well, since we know that time is of great importance, you guys have been so gracious with your time for this episode. So thank you for that. One thing that I'd love to just kind of close with, we've shared a lot of stuff. You guys have shared a lot of wisdom. People forget things. So if you had to say, here's one thing I'd love for your listeners to remember of this podcast, what would it be?
Well, for me, it's to remember that the love language that matters most is the love language and the dialect of the person in front of you. So the more you can understand that, the more loving you will be in their lives.
Well said. I think, I'm not even sure we said this. I think it was the subtext for all four of us, actually. But that loving well is not about perfection at all. So it's more just about persistence. It's just that commitment that I'm going to keep the practice of loving going. And if I miss it this time, I'm going to keep learning to speak your language, your dialect, and continue to try. And I'm going to practice love. I'm
glad you said that, because you will fail, right? No one loves perfectly all the time. Gary Chapman doesn't. In fact, It's been
Don't
years.
say it out loud.
It's been years since he's given me a word of affirmation. That's not true. But it really is true that we all will fail.
Yeah.
And in fact, the very last chapter of this book, The Love Language That Matters Most, is all about, hey, this is never going to be perfect. It is all about practice.
Right.
And when you fail, when you wake up in the morning and go into the kitchen and go, hey, you forgot to do blah, 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 right? You realize, okay, I'm still learning. I'm going to do better. Yes, I'm going to do better tomorrow.
Yep.
But it takes practice to speak the person's love language that matters most.
Wow,
awesome.
that is so fantastic. So, how can folks connect with you all? What's the easiest way?
So you
how can
can-
they find you?
And we'll put it in our show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just first of all, you can just Google 5 Love Language Premium Assessment if you want to go take this assessment like you guys have. And by the way, one of the cool things it does that we didn't have time to talk about, it also lays out your personality, things like are you an introvert or an extrovert, and how that changes love languages and so forth. But anyway, go to 5 Love Languages Premium Assessment to find out more about that. And you can obviously just do the same thing, go to Amazon and find The Love Language That Matters Most. And we're so excited today because we just learned about the pre-orders on that, and it's already resonating with folks, which is pretty fun.
It's fantastic.
That makes
Yeah.
me so happy. Well,
But
go
and I
ahead.
was just going to mention our own website is Lesson Leslie, and that's AND, lessandleslie.com. And did I tell you I'm obsessed with myheartchart.com?
Yes, you
They can go there
did.
too.
But
Yes.
you should be. You've shown me the My Heart chart when we were sitting together at the American Association of Christian Counselors. He opened up his
Yeah.
laptop and showed this to me. I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. So I just want to say thank you to Drs. Les and Leslie Parrott. Thank you for coming on the show. We really encourage folks to check out this new book, learn your spouse's dialect, your children's dialect, the love language that matters most. You can see all those details in the show notes. Please share today's episode with someone who needs it and tag Les and Leslie and us on all your social media channels. Thanks for listening to I Wish You Could Hear This. Remember to subscribe to our podcast. And as always, forward today's audio or video link to a friend, counselor, or pastor who would be encouraged.